When a city the size of Worcester, Mass. lowers its flags to half-staff as one of its citizens passes on, the message is strongly delivered. We have lost a pillar in our community. This was the final tribute for Peter Leasca. While Peter's initial and brief residence was in the Greek village of North Gronadale, his journey was basically launched at Putnam's Manhasset village. This is where the family chose to settle and where Peter took up residence with other relatives of the Leasca family and discovered the fascination of the Quinnebog River, which was literally in his backyard. His father would fish in the waterway, while Peter and his cousins discovered the sewer pipes which emptied into the river, avoiding the splashing discharge when a toilet was flushed. There is no family history of illness or tragedy when caught fish and sewage joined together. His early education was at Israel Putnam School and then on to Putnam High. But Peter never graduated with his class. He left in his junior year to join the Navy as a pharmacist mate. And while he did eventually return to Putnam High School to complete his education, his naval experience made a significant impact throughout his lifetime. His naval assignment was aboard the USS Bowman County, also known as LST-824. This landing ship tank took him to the Pacific Theater with stops at several islands including Okinawa before ending up in Tokyo at the war's conclusion. Peter noted that his sailing mates claimed that LST also stood for Last Stop Tokyo. Upon his discharge, he was first employed by Webster Lens while he continued his education, commuting daily to Bryant College in Providence with his cousin George. Peter graduated in 1950 with a degree in business management. In the 1950s, he moved to Worcester, continuing his education at Worcester Polytech, which led to employment as purchasing manager for Harrington and Richardson Firearms. It was about this time that Peter made his initial impact on the Worcester community. A devastating tornado in 1953 caused major damage throughout the city, and Peter responded in numerous capacities. Traffic control, tree removal, and Red Cross volunteer work were where his efforts were directed, leading to an appointment of civic service officer for the city.
Less than a week after his move came the tornado of 1953. And right away, the first thing on his mind was, where can I help? Went to the Red Cross, went over to Great Brook Valley where the most damage was, took the trees out of the way, whatever was necessary, and didn't even think about that.
1953 continued to be a memorable year in Peter's life. While attending a dance in Newport, he met Despina Rujas from Providence. A brief courtship followed before they exchanged wedding vows in early 1954. The pair enjoyed 63 years together until Peter's passing in 2017. Despina, now 97, still resides in their family home on Grove Street in Worcester. Moving on to Rockwood Sprinkler Company in 1964 provided an unexpected perk. A business trip to Greece enabled Peter and Despina to visit the villages of his grandparents and relatives, catch up on the family history, and strengthened his pride in his Greek heritage. His never-ending quest to continually advance his career led to still another change in 1966 when he entered the financial field. It began with selling of mutual funds as an investment advisor for Hornblower and Weeks, later to be known as Smith Barney. He advanced to a major stockbroker, and after a 46-year career, he retired as vice president of Morgan Stanley. In 1975, Peter founded the Worcester Stockbrokers Association and served as its president for 30 years. He became the first stock market reporter for Worcester's cable TV station, and his vast knowledge and experience in the financial field led to a demand to serve as an adjunct professor at Worcester State College, Becker College, and Quinsigamon Community College. In addition to his lifelong career in finances, 3 other driving forces occupied whatever time Peter Leasca could absent himself from his daily obligations: continuous involvement and promotion of his Greek heritage, a never-ending quest to remind all who would listen of the importance of the military, and any and all activities that would enhance his beloved Worcester community. Peter was a member of St. Spyridon Greek Orthodox Cathedral for over 65 years. Starting out as a youth advisor on the Greek Orthodox Youth Council, his involvement expanded to serving on the parish council and then rose to the national level with the HEPA, the American Hellenic Education Progressive Association. He served as district governor for the Worcester region of AHEPA before becoming Supreme Governor in 1999. For his continual involvement with the Greek community, he was awarded the religious honor of Archeon, representing St. Spyridon Cathedral at a gala dinner in 2012. A highlight of Peter's time in this fraternal organization was the 60-mile torch relay race from Boston to Webster. As president and chair of this event, he was able to convince the local police departments to permit the carrying of the torch, which had been used in the 1948 Olympic Games, to run on busy highways. With so many fraternal ethnic organizations in Worcester, Peter felt that there was enough commonality among them that could be used collectively to promote numerous community ideas and events. So in 1970, he organized the first Friendship Dinner Meeting. This annual joint gathering brought between 400 and 500 people to share bread and ideas, and still continued after his passing. If there was one driving force that had an impact throughout his adulthood, it was his never-ending pride and devotion to all that was military. His naval enlistment was the springboard to a lifelong commitment of reminding all generations, from elementary school to senior gatherings, of the sacrifice so many made to preserve our liberty and freedom.
He didn't want those fellas from the war to be forgotten, that freedom isn't free, that prices were paid, and I think that continues in America today. And he just didn't want that conflict, the fight for freedom and liberty, to be forgotten.
Peter's love affair with LST-824 began with his first assignment on the vessel and was highlighted in 2000 when a similar ship, LST-325, was brought from Crete, Greece to Mobile, Alabama, where it would become a floating museum. On its way, it visited the American port of Charlestown, Massachusetts, where Peter spoke as a member of the greeting committee and received a flag that had been flown on its voyage. Military promotional events morphed with Worcester's days of celebration, and Peter often served as guest speaker. He was instrumental in the construction of the World War II monument and fountain, which rests in the city common. His many contributions to Worcester were realized in 2016 when he was recognized by the College of Holy Cross as Outstanding Citizen of the Year for his military involvement, impact on his beloved community, and business acumen. As part of the ceremony, a parade was held in downtown Worcester, and a time capsule holding letters from 43 World War II veterans was buried and will be raised in 2116.
Receiving the key to the city, when he passed, the police department escorted the procession from the church to the cemetery. I think that just shows his influence, his importance, his dedication of all things to the city of Worcester. And, you know, as he aged, I mean, when he was still doing things, you know, at the age of 90, he was still involved.
With all of his business success, personal pursuits of interest, and never-ending community involvement, where does one find time to enjoy family gatherings? Peter made that time, whether it was at special occasion or just downtime with his children and grandchildren. It provided an enjoyable respite.
He was truly the patriarch of the family. He tried to resolve issues, but he also, I think more than anything, he tried to bring people together. Whenever we had anything, he was the organizer for pictures, he was the statesman. It was, I can't say enough how a gathering wouldn't have been the same had Pete not been there.
While Putnam's loss was obviously a bigger gain for Worcester, we should always remember that Peter Leasca's educational beginnings included his days at Putnam High School. His plaque on the Wall of Honor will be a lasting testimony to all that he achieved.